Attention seniors, if you carry a debit card in your wallet or purse, this information is crucial for you. A new type of fraud, known as the ghost tap, is spreading with unprecedented speed. Criminals are specifically targeting older individuals because they recognize that your cards are often kept in easily accessible locations. In a mere 3 seconds, without any physical contact, your account can be depleted, and you might not even realize it for several days. I am attorney Linda Matthews, and today I will thoroughly explain the ghost tap scam, detailing its mechanics, the reasons why your financial institution might not automatically reimburse you, and most importantly, the legal and practical strategies you can implement to safeguard yourself. Please remain engaged until the conclusion, as I will also reveal a single, complimentary item that can render you virtually impervious to the scheme, and it costs less than a single cup of coffee. If you are viewing this presentation, kindly show your support by clicking the like button to help YouTube distribute this vital warning to other seniors. Furthermore, please share your experiences in the comments section below. Have you ever had your debit card compromised? I am eager to hear your stories. Part 1. Understanding the ghost tap scam. The ghost tap scam represents one of the most disconcerting tactics I have encountered in my legal career because it leverages everyday payment technology that most of us have accepted without question. Historically, debit and credit card theft typically involve the physical appropriation of your card, fraudulent activity at an ATM, or deception leading to the disclosure of your details on a spurious website. However, the ghost tap operates differently. It does not necessitate your card leaving your wallet, purse, or even your pocket. The entire transaction can occur silently in under 3 seconds. The underlying technology enabling this is NFC, or near-field communication, which is integrated into most modern debit cards. This feature permits you to tap your card at a payment terminal for instant transactions without insertion or PIN entry. While convenient, this convenience is precisely what criminals exploit. They have recognized that if retailers can utilize this technology for transactions, they can too. Their only requirement is a portable payment terminal, identical to those used by vendors at cafes or by delivery personnel. These devices are astonishingly accessible for purchase online. Picture this scenario. You are standing in line at a pharmacy, your handbag resting on your shoulder. A man behind you moves closer, seemingly impatient. You think nothing of it. In reality, concealed within his jacket pocket is a compact payment reader. As he maneuvers close enough, your card, which is constantly broadcasting its readiness for a tap transaction, makes contact with his device through your bag. A small sum, perhaps $40, is instantaneously processed. You receive no auditory alert or phone notification. You simply continue with your day. This scheme is not limited to isolated incidents. Adept fraudsters deploy the ghost tap in crowded environments such as public transportation, shopping centers, and large gatherings where individuals are often distracted and moving in close proximity. They might illicitly charge you $30 in one location and then $60 later in the day. By keeping individual transactions below the bank's typical fraud detection threshold, often around $100, they evade security monitoring systems. The first indication of unauthorized activity typically emerges when you review your account balance several days later and discover a series of unexplained charges. The truly alarming aspect is that because no card has been physically stolen, no PIN has been compromised, and no overt skimming device is evident, many individuals initially doubt that any fraudulent activity has occurred. They mistakenly assume they must have made the purchases and forgotten, which is precisely the outcome the perpetrators aim for. Part 2. Why older adults are targeted. From a criminal's perspective, senior citizens represent an ideal demographic for ghost tap scams, and I have observed a dramatic escalation in this trend over the past year. This is not due to a lack of caution among seniors. In fact, many are demonstrably more vigilant with their possessions than younger individuals. The primary reasons stem from opportunity, established habits, and societal perceptions. Firstly, accessibility plays a significant role. Many seniors carry their wallets or purses in ways that make them vulnerable to approach without suspicion. Consider the common practice of carrying a handbag casually on the arm or keeping a wallet in a coat pocket. You might also place your purse on a counter while completing paperwork, or rested on a seat beside you while awaiting an appointment. During any of these moments, an individual with a concealed payment terminal could position themselves close enough to initiate a tap transaction without your awareness. Secondly, there is the issue of technological familiarity. While most seniors are aware of tap-and-go functionality, fewer understand its inherent vulnerabilities when the feature is perpetually active. Many individuals still operate under the assumption that payment is impossible without physically handing over their card. However, the Ghost Tap thrives on the constant, often unnoticed broadcasting of your card's readiness to connect. I have encountered instances where criminals deliberately scout locations frequented by older adults, such as community centers, grocery stores during weekday mornings, libraries, and pharmacies. They typically blend in as ordinary patrons or even wear counterfeit staff identification to reduce suspicion. They understand that in these settings, individuals are less inclined to suspect malicious intent and are more likely to be engrossed in other activities, such as reading notices, counting change, or engaging in conversation. Finally, there is a perceptual element. Criminals often operate under the mistaken belief that older victims will be slower to review their bank applications or will not immediately notice minor unauthorized charges. This grants scammers an extended period to target the same victim multiple times before the fraud is detected. In some unfortunate cases, I have seen seniors only realize charges had been made when their monthly statement arrived, by which point hundreds of dollars had been illicitly taken. This represents a callous exploitation of both trust and routine. Part 3. The legal ambiguity and bank refusal of refunds. This is where my legal expertise becomes relevant. While the common assumption is that any fraudulent transaction will be automatically reimbursed by the bank, the reality is considerably more complex. Banking regulations in numerous countries, including the United States, Australia, Canada, and the United Kingdom, are designed to protect consumers from unauthorized transactions. Ostensibly, this provides a guarantee, but in practice, the definition of unauthorized can be surprisingly restrictive. In the case of a ghost tap, your physical card remains in your possession. It has not been stolen, duplicated, or accessed through online breaches. The payment is executed using your card's actual chip and antenna, precisely as it was designed to function. From the bank's perspective, the system has performed as intended. A contactless payment was requested, and your card responded. There was no PIN failure, no transaction decline, and no apparent security breach. In cases I have handled, financial institutions have sometimes contended that the charge must have been authorized by the cardholder simply because the contactless feature was active and the card was present. Proving otherwise becomes challenging without corroborating security footage or a clear witness statement. Furthermore, because ghost tap scammers frequently maintain transaction amounts at low levels, banks may not initiate investigations with the same rigor as they would for larger sums. Another significant hurdle is the time frame for reporting. Many banks stipulate very short notification periods, often 24 to 48 hours, for the strongest consumer protection measures to apply. If you discover the charges only after a week or two, your claim might be significantly weakened. In certain disputes, I have witnessed banks suggest that a family member or friend may have used the card with implicit consent, thereby shifting the entire burden of proof onto the victim. The reality is that while recovering your funds is often possible, the process is not always swift or straightforward. It may involve submitting multiple reports, providing written declarations, and potentially escalating the matter to a financial ombudsman or regulatory body if the bank remains uncooperative. This endeavor can be incredibly taxing, and regrettably, scammers are aware that many victims, particularly seniors, may lack the time or the energy to pursue such efforts diligently. This underscores the paramount importance of preventative measures against the ghost tap scam. Once funds have been lost, the subsequent battle to reclaim them can be far more arduous than most individuals anticipate. Part 4. Immediate self-protection measures. The encouraging news is that while the ghost tap scam is insidious, it is also one of the most straightforward schemes to thwart if you take immediate action. The perpetrators rely on two key factors: your tap-to-pay feature being perpetually enabled, and your card being carried in a location accessible to their devices. By disrupting either of these conditions, you become an exceptionally difficult target. Let us begin with physical safeguards. RFID blocking sleeves and wallets represent the most effective defense against ghost tap attacks. These items create a protective barrier around your card, preventing radio signals from being transmitted. Consequently, even if a payment terminal is placed directly against your bag or pocket, your card remains undetectable. These can be purchased online, at office supply stores, or even at some supermarkets for as little as $5. If you utilize a wallet with multiple card slots, ensure that every contactless card is shielded, not solely your debit card, but also any credit cards, travel cards, or access passes equipped with tap functionality. An additional layer of security involves completely deactivating the tap-to-pay feature. While some individuals prioritize convenience over potential risk, for many seniors, disabling contactless payments entirely is the most prudent course of action. You can achieve this by contacting your bank or, in many instances, by adjusting the settings within your mobile banking application. Once deactivated, your card will only function when physically inserted into a payment terminal and authenticated with a PIN. While this adds a few seconds to each transaction, it completely eliminates the ghost tap risk. Furthermore, consider the method and location where you carry your card. The closer it is to the exterior of your clothing or bag, the easier it is for a scammer to access it. If you keep it in your handbag, utilize an interior zippered compartment. If it resides in a pocket, opt for an inner pocket, preferably on the side that is less exposed to passing individuals. Scammers favor swift, low-risk maneuvers. If they must contort themselves to achieve proximity, they will likely move on to a different target. Finally, cultivate a daily habit of reviewing your account activity. This process does not need to be time-consuming. Simply open your banking application, browse through your most recent transactions, and look for any entries you do not recognize regardless of their amount. Ghost tap charges are frequently kept deliberately under $100 to circumvent fraud alerts. Therefore, do not dismiss a $12 or $30 payment as a minor oversight. If you did not authorize it, treat it with seriousness and act promptly. I have observed clients who, after implementing these measures, transition from experiencing multiple fraudulent charges within a single month to remaining entirely free of suspicious activity for over a year. Prevention is indeed highly effective in this scenario, but it requires the implementation of these measures before you become a target. Part 5. Actions to take if you become a victim. Even with the most robust preventative measures, scams can still occur. If you find yourself a victim of the ghost tap, swift action is paramount. The sooner you respond, the greater your likelihood of recovering your funds and preventing the scammer from targeting others. The initial step is to contact your bank immediately. Utilize the fraud or lost card number printed on the reverse of your card. This will directly connect you to the department capable of freezing your card and initiating an investigation. During your call, communicate clearly and assertively. Inform them that you suspect contactless payment fraud, specifically the ghost tap scheme, and require the transactions to be reversed. Request a dispute claim number without delay. This will serve as your reference for all subsequent communications regarding the case. The second step involves requesting written confirmation of your fraud report. This can be an email or a letter, but it must clearly enumerate the disputed transactions and the date you reported them. Maintaining this paper trail is critical if the bank resists your claim or attempts to argue that your report was filed too late. Next, file a police report. While law enforcement in some jurisdictions may not be able to investigate every minor transaction, the report establishes an official record of the offense. This record can strengthen your case with the bank and is often a prerequisite for financial ombudsman services if you need to escalate the matter. When filing the report, provide as much detail as possible, including your location that day, the times you noticed the charges, and any unusual interactions you may have had. Subsequently, meticulously document everything. Capture screenshots of your account displaying the unauthorized charges. Record the names of every bank representative you interact with, along with the date and time of each conversation. Retain copies of all emails and correspondence. This is not merely a procedural formality. In cases I have handled, the victims who were most diligent in their record-keeping were the ones who received their reimbursements most rapidly. If your bank denies your refund request, do not concede. Insist that they provide their decision in writing. Following that, escalate the issue to your country's relevant financial complaints authority. Examples include the Australian Financial Complaints Authority, AFCA, the UK Financial Ombudsman Service, or the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, CFPB, in the United States. These bodies can independently review the case and often compel banks to reconsider their decisions. Finally, implement measures to prevent future attacks. Replace your compromised card, disable the tap-to-pay feature if you have not already done so, and invest in RFID blocking protection. The Ghost Tap scam relies on the element of surprise. Once you have navigated this experience and implemented the appropriate safeguards, you will become a significantly less appealing target for subsequent attempts.